I've told you before what I expect or would like to see Best of Us investors to become is a brain trust or a think tank of what are the best investments. And today's video is going to be specifically a result of my wish. I got an email from Previn, and Previn sent me a link to a video on a new company called NIKOLA. NIKOLA is a trucking company that is going to revolutionize the way that trucking operates.
Welcome to NIKOLA in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's get you guys inside and I'll show you around.
In my research relative to Tesla and Waymo, I have learned that they are trying to change the auto industry from an industry that built and sold cars and didn't make much profit. Well, let's go back a few years. When automobiles used to get 30,000 to 50,000 miles of life expectancy, in the current market, a Ford, General Motors average profit on an automobile sale is $1,500. This is according to the CEO of Waymo. As a result of that, if the car goes 150,000 miles life expectancy, they make a penny a mile. That is not a viable business. It might have worked back when a car got something in the neighborhood of 30,000 miles. So we have innovators like Elon Musk and this gentleman who is from NIKOLA who are saying we got to change the way this whole thing works, and we have to be basically in the business of leasing vehicles, whether it be on a time basis that it sits in your garage, or like Waymo is on a time basis, the time that you spend in the car. Now, NIKOLA is though going after the truck business, and it is using a hydrogen method of propelling an electric vehicle. It will have both a battery as well as a hydrogen storage tank on it. As I understand it, and this is new to me, that hydrogen is the smallest atom known to man, and therefore it has the ability, if you charge it, to hold more power than any other atom. So in essence, they're putting a hydrogen storage tank in a vehicle. They are then having it charged off the electric grid, and as I understand it, they will access the electricity from the grid at the time when power is cheapest, when electric utilities have more power than they can use. So they go in and get this power, put it into a filling station. This huge truck pulls up, and in 8 minutes gets recharged for an 800-mile trip. NIKOLA will own the filling stations. So as the CEO says, and you'll listen to it here, we're not only getting paid for trucks, but we're replacing BP and Chevron because we're being paid for the fuel as well. And our trucks will go 1 million miles. So each truck will give us a cash flow of $1 million. Let's let him explain it a little further.
We're really the only hydrogen, zero-emission, battery electric, heavy-duty truck manufacturer in the world. So similar to Amazon. The reason why Amazon's been so successful around the world is that they cover not just the goods sold online. I mean, anyone can do that, but it's the entire logistics behind it, the vertical integration. It's very similar to what NIKOLA's done. What we've done is we don't just sell a truck. We're really a tech energy company is what we are. We actually sell all the energy for the truck to the consumer at the same time. So these hydrogen stations are expensive to build. But if you match them up to truck orders, then you're only dedicating around $30,000 per truck to a station. So that's nothing. BP, when BP or Shell, when you sell a truck, they get about somewhere right around about $1 million in revenue, in oil revenues, every truck that you ever sell in diesel. So what we did is we took that money, we brought it into Nikola now. So we sell the truck, we're an energy as a provider kind of solution. And that's really the difference, is very similar to Amazon, is we've got the whole ecosystem rather than just selling a truck. Yeah, so that's probably one last thing that's really unique about Nikola, is we're the only company in the world that offers both battery electric trucks and hydrogen electric trucks. So battery electric trucks work really good up to 300 miles. They're awesome. They're cheap to run. They're way cheaper than diesel, and they're even cheaper than hydrogen in some cases. Then hydrogen above 300 miles, when you're moving freight, it's the only way to go because it's cheaper to run than battery, because you don't have all the weight of the batteries where you're losing payload. So Nikola is the only company that offers both, and that's really what sets us apart, is we offer both battery electric and hydrogen electric. And then we do the grid buffering, so we help the grids buffer their grids, and that's how we get our energy so cheap to be able to broker back to the fleets. We're rolling out 5 stations, kicking off 5 stations this year right now, and next year you'll see our trucks coming off the assembly line, first to second quarter. That's why we went public. We decided, okay, we got to get to the capital markets, and the stations will be built and filling next year as well. So we're less than 12 months out.
I see this as a total change in the trucking business, and their trucks are badass, really. And I see this is kind of the same direction that Tesla and Waymo are going, and I'm going to do a separate video on those two. Is this something you want to invest in? Well, as I understand it, they have merged with a company called Victiv, and it trades on the NASDAQ market under the symbol of VTIQ. As I see it, this merger has not happened yet. The merger is scheduled to happen somewhere around the 1st of June. At that time, it will be called not the Victiv, it will be called Nikola, and it will trade under the symbol of NKLA. This could be, some of you have asked me, how do you get in on IPOs? Well, you really don't, because IPOs are pretty much reserved for the largest customers of brokers. But you need to put this into your Google search or your Google alerts, and be aware of when it does IPO. And this is a stock you need to follow, because I believe these people are going to change the world we live in relative to the trucking industry. Nikola already has orders for 14,000 trucks. These are pre-orders, which represents $10 billion. Now, if you listen to what the CEO says, is they will take the sale of that truck, and such as they sold a bunch of them to Anheuser-Busch, and they know the routes that these Anheuser-Busch trucks are going to run on. So they will build these filling stations of hydrogen power along the routes that Anheuser-Busch is running. So now if another company buys some trucks, let's say it's Amazon, and they have certain routes they run to their fulfillment centers, or however they work it, they will then build filling stations along there. As I understand it, then they're inviting anybody who wants to build a semi, Mack truck, or whoever else, to go ahead and build trucks with hydrogen power, because they will be, for the most part, the only provider of the power. So it's like he says, we're building the whole infrastructure, the whole ecostructure, much as Amazon does. We not only build the truck, and we think we're going to have the best truck, but we're going to have the filling stations as well. And I remember one time I was watching Shark Tank, and I heard Mark Cuban say the future of industry, of business, is to change from selling products to getting subscriptions, getting people to allow you to hit their checking account every month for $15, every month for $25. Well, here in this trucking business, rather than selling trucks, we're selling fuel. And we're selling fuel for a truck that will go 1,000,000 miles. So if he makes the mention that the payback will be roughly $1 per mile. So now, rather than selling a truck for $100,000, you're selling the truck for the $100,000, and then you're getting $1,000,000 worth of income by selling the fuel. This is genius. This is world changing. This is the direction that I think the whole transportation industry is going to go. And I play back to a video I did on the revolution of transportation. I have 2 cars sitting in my garage, and statistics tell me that I use them roughly 5% of my 24 hours of a day. Well, that doesn't make any sense. That I've got $200,000 worth of depreciating vehicle sitting in my garage that I use 5% of my life. And that's where I think Tesla and Waymo are going. But this new NIKOLA is something we need to be watching. This is truly, Previn, thank you so much. This is where I want to go with this channel. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this because I'm being devoured with stocks I should look at. I can't do it all. I can't keep up with it all. Somehow we need to do this on our website, Best of Us Investors, where we interchange. And somehow I need to get you involved in this. Homer, you're a huge proponent of Tesla. You know so much about it. I need to get you interactive with not only me, but with the 1,000,000 subscribers we're collectively going to gather here, so that we have a think tank that brings things to our attention like NIKOLA.